Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2, and peace and blessings be upon you and your family this evening. Now, we are going to get right back into the information on hunting, herding, black girls and women. Now, this is the information. The data research came from the Final Call newspaper on December the 4th, 2019 is when it was published for the paper. Now, for this is take number 5. So without further ado, take number 5 for you is as such. Sex trafficking is commodification of consumption of bodies, and victims can be adults or children, male and female. Law enforcement says the illicit trade involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion to compel another person to perform sex to financially profit third parties. Sex trafficking is human trafficking, specifically for the purpose of sexual exploitation. Sexual slavery is when a victim is forced in a variety of ways into dependency on their traffickers and pushed into sex work. There is no type of female in sex trafficking, said activists and advocates. They come from various social and economic backgrounds. College girls are being targeted, said Miss Cleveland. Those who buy sex services includes pastors, police officers, attorneys, almost anyone. Black organizations and faith groups like mosques and churches need to get involved combating the crisis that is disproportionately affecting blacks, said advocates. If we wait on someone else to save us, the numbers will continue to grow, warned Miss Cleveland. Our community needs to step forth, get educated, and change the way they think about our black women and girls. Until we learn to love and protect our women, we will never be a fit and recognized people on the earth. The white people here among you will never recognize you until you protect your woman, warned the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, patriarch of the Nation of Islam, in his writings. My beloved brothers in America, you have lost the respect for your woman, and therefore you have lost the respect for yourself. You won't protect her, therefore you can't protect yourself, he wrote. One moment, I'm just making sure we're Moving right along here. All right, we are certainly going to keep moving right along. Next in the section of the information is we're going to focus on Central America is this section. So Central America, fertile ground for human trafficking. Edgardo Ayala, San Salvador, IPS. Central America is an impoverished region, rife with gang violence and human trafficking, the third largest crime industry in the world, as a major source of migrants heading towards the United States. Human trafficking has had deep roots in Central America, especially in Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, for decades, and increasingly requires a concerted law enforcement effort by the region's governments to dismantle trafficking networks and to offer support programs for the victims. The phenomenon has become more visible in recent years, but not much progress has been made in the area of more direct attention to victims. Carmela Jabaja, a Catholic nun with the Rama Network Against Trafficking in Persons, told IPS. This Central America civil society organization forms part of the Talita Cum International Network Against Trafficking in Persons, based in Rome, which brings together 58 anti-trafficking organizations around the world. Sister Jabaja pointed out that the biggest trafficking problem is at the borders because El Salvador is a country that expels migrants, as well as in tourism areas. The most recognized form of trafficking in the region is sexual exploitation, whose victims are women. Carlos Moran, Interpol security officer and member of the Honduran police cybercrime unit, CONCORS. We know that El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala are countries with a heavy flow of undocumented migrants, which puts them at risk of becoming victims of trafficking. Mr. Moran told IPS while participating in a regional forum on the issue, hosted November the 4th through the 8th by San Salvador. The regional seminar on investigation techniques and protections of victims of trafficking in persons brought together officials from the Office of the Public Prosecutor, police officers, legal experts, and other key actors and experts from Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras, the countries that make up the so-called Northern Central American Triangle. The objective is to strengthen capacities and good practices in the investigation of trafficking, especially when the crime is transnational in nature. Mr. Moran and other participants in the meeting declined to talk about figures on the extent of trafficking in the region due to the lack of reliable data. And this does conclude take number 5 here on Poem Praise 2 So please stay tuned for take number 6. But until then, I certainly want for you to be well, take care, be blessed, and it be at thy will. I'll speak with you soon here on Palm Praise 2. So, until next time, later, y'all.